Are you finally ready to buy whatever you want and experience freedom and finances at the highest level without subtracting and taking from yourself and belittling yourself and causing you to have a poverty mindset because people just continuously keep telling you to cut back and live below your means? If that's you, I'm going to show you exactly how to live above your means and truly experience finances and fulfillment at the highest level. Now, I know there's a lot of videos that circulate and they talk about the importance of living below your means. One thing that I want you to consider is this. When you live below your means, there is an aspect of you that causes you to continue to eat away at your self-esteem and the value of you as a human. Because a part of your unconscious mind says that if we keep cutting back, this is a reflection of who we are and the value that we see in ourselves. And if we see ourselves as somebody who constantly has to cut back, what does that say about us? What does that say about what we're worth? What does that say about our value? What does that say about us as a person? And so in this video, I want to show you the exact opposite and the reason why this is so important for you to live above your means and truly get to where you want to live. Now, the first thing that I want to share with you, and this is why this is so important, is it's important for you to live your best life right now. So often people think about I'll be happy if, and I'll be happy when. And when you think about all of those things, those are all things that are future dates. And so it's very important for you to live your future right now in the present, because we hear it all the time, tomorrow is not promised. And if we really believe that tomorrow is not promised, then why do we keep putting off our best life for the future by saying I'll be happy with, or I'll do this when, or I'll do this if at a future date? That is a prime example of a lot of times we don't even believe the words that are coming out of our own mouth. And we continue to hear and listen to other people that keeps us trapped in a state of poverty. Now, it's very important to understand that there are some levels to this, and I'll explain all of those in detail, but I really want you to understand the importance of living your future and not your present. Because when you live your future and not your present, it causes you to move and attract and build and even make decisions in a way that's different from what you would totally make that you wouldn't make if you just live for right now. Because a lot of times we think about we'll be happy when, or I'll do this when, or I'll do this if, that future date, because we're saying that the future is going to be better than the present. But there are ways where you can live right now how you want to live in the future. And when you continue to put things off, you just continue to move the goalposts down the line, because your unconscious mind says, come get us when you're ready right now. And we don't even really understand how that works, and I don't want to go into too detail about that, but your subconscious mind is extremely powerful, and it will attract and go get and bring things to your awareness that will cause whatever you want to accomplish right now to have those give you those resources. But if you keep telling yourself that I'll do this when, or I'll do this a future date, your unconscious mind is not going to do anything to attract those things, work for you, and then bring to your awareness the resources that you currently have right now to actually accomplish that. So it's really important for you to actually live in the future, like live it right now in the present. And I think it's also important for you to live your best life. We only get one time to go around in this life, one time, that's it. And so if we keep putting our best life off, or for some of us, just being totally honest, if we don't even think our best life is even possible, we're just existing. We're not even living. And so when you live above your means, you give yourself the ability and the chance and the experience to live your best life right now. Because we don't really understand that whatever we want, we can have anything we want right now. The only thing that we need to get to finance it is an asset. And sometimes people just think that if they have a job, like this is the only way that I'm going to ever be able to afford whatever I want is through this job. Or this business, if you have a business, if you will. And sometimes we don't really understand that there are assets all around us. We are an asset ourselves, even though we don't really know how to utilize us to really leverage the resources that we have inside of us to serve people at a different level where they will compensate us financially and finance anything that we actually want. However, I want to challenge you and I want to encourage you to think about how can you live your best life right now and get an asset to pay for it. Because when you think about something else financing the life that you desire, it just opens up a world of awareness that a lot of people, they don't even operate with. I was actually recently talking to a family member of mine, and he wants to start a business. And he was thinking about all of the different ways that he can raise money. And so I gave him a different perspective. And sometimes it's like we just need one idea to just open up everything that unlocks the creativity within us. And I recommended him to give somebody a percentage of the business or give somebody a certain time of marketing. Like you could do marketing for them for a specific period of time in exchange for this dollar amount if they're selling something to you. But anyway, it just opened up something for him that allowed him to not only save money, but it's like he made an extra $27,000 just from an alternative way of doing something. And so when it comes to living your best life, here's what I really want to communicate to you. Live your best life right now because tomorrow is not promised. And whatever your best life looks like, there's somebody else who's willing to pay for it. Any amount of money you want in this world, it's in somebody else's pocket. Now, I'm not saying you got to go and steal it from them or rob them from them. All you have to do is provide value to them that's valuable to them, and they will pay you any amount. Because we don't realize that whatever we want is never about price. It's always about value. And it's like when you give somebody whatever value that they deem as more valuable than the currency that you want to get from them, they will give it to you every single time. And here's another thing that I think will really encourage you and even inspire you and even force you to live above your means is generational wealth. A lot of people don't focus on anybody else outside of themselves. And when you focus on generational wealth forces you to live above your means because you're building for more than just you. When people are just building for themselves, they only look for things and they only act on things that are just going to finance their lifestyle. But when you think about the people that you love and them having the experiences that you've had before, or you think about generations to come, it's going to cause you to build in such a way that's way beyond you because it requires more. There's so many people that want to be a millionaire, but they're not a millionaire because they have nothing that requires them to be one. Sometimes people just talk about what they want, but they don't have anything that requires them to become one. And it's like until you have something that requires you to be a millionaire, you'll never be one because you don't have a reason. Because we need a reason for everything, even if we're not aware of that reason consciously. And so I want to encourage you to live above your means, because when you live above your means, it causes you to operate at a much higher level than what you're currently marketing at. And I remember when I played football years ago, one of my coaches, he had a guy do push-ups to exhaustion for 1 minute. So this guy did push-ups to exhaustion for 60 seconds. And you would look at him and you would think like, okay, this guy, he's tired, he's done, and this was after practice. And so what he did is after this guy did push-ups to exhaustion, he had the entire team circle this one person. And he told this person, all of your teammates are depending on you to top what you just did. So you have 60 seconds to do more push-ups than you just did. And the guy was looking at him like, how do you expect me to do that? And I'm tired. And we just got through doing a 3-hour, I'm tired. But here was the other stipulation. He told everybody on the team, I want you to cheer for him like you want somebody to cheer for you when you completed something that you never completed before and it took so much effort and heart and it was the hardest thing you ever done and you want to be celebrated for it. Celebrate him with that same intensity. And so for 60 seconds, the entire team celebrated, cheered for him, encouraged him, everything. And guess what? Even though he was totally exhausted, he did more push-ups the second time after a 3-hour practice, after doing push-ups to exhaustion. Why? Because he had other people depending on him. He had other people encouraging him. He had other people believing in him. And a lot of times, generational wealth does the exact same thing for us. It's countless stories of people that they can't make enough money for themselves, or they make just enough for themselves, but they don't have anything to save. But then a family member gets in a situation where they might need $500 for this emergency. The person somehow finds some kind of way to make $500 more than they've ever had before because somebody else needed it, but they couldn't do it for themselves. And it's like when we focus on generational wealth, we put a positive pressure on ourselves to create, to develop, and demand something of ourselves that we currently was not possessing because we didn't have a reason to, we didn't have a need to. And it's like when you focus on generational wealth, that will force you to find other ways to make money and build beyond your means because it's more than just you. And I want you to hear me out. When I'm saying live above your means, I'm not saying like be in debt over your head. Like that's not what I'm saying at all. When I'm saying live above your means, living above your means, it means that your means will always rise to the level of expectation that you have for your life. So it's not just about debt, but when you live above your means will rise to the level of expectation, whatever your life has for it. So when you have a life that expects your means to be up here, instead of operating down here, just being safe and comfortable and just paying your bills, you're going to operate up here because your means is rising to the expectation that your life has for it. And so what I'm saying is this: when you live above your means, you're going to have more than enough. Not just more than enough for you, but more than enough for all of the people that you love. And here's something that might serve you as it's serving me now. Living above your means might be in your, like, even to yourself, you saving $1,000 extra a month for your family in case they have an emergency. And you don't even tell them about it. But you save an extra $1,000 every single month just in case your family has some kind of emergency that comes up and nobody else can cover it. And you're not broadcasting this, you're not telling people, but if you make this a goal or a mission or something, or really a decision, if you decide this today and starting next month, you save an extra $1,000 just for your family's emergency fund. That's not for you personally, but for your family's emergency fund. That's an extra $12,000 a month, or a year rather, that you're going to save that maybe you weren't saving before, that can go somewhere totally different. And you treat that like a bill. You have a responsibility to pay that because other people that you love could be in trouble. So when you live above your means from those regards, that's not putting you in debt. It's just putting you in a situation where you're operating financially at a much higher level than maybe you're currently operating at right now. But hopefully this makes sense and why it's really important for you to live above your means and truly think about others more than just yourself, and focus on generational wealth, because that's going to force you to live above your means in a positive way. Now, if you've gotten any value from this video whatsoever, I want you to comment below and tell me, what is your biggest takeaway? Like what's something that's different for you that maybe you've heard in this video, or a different perspective other than what you've heard in all these other videos that talk about living below your means. You know, I really want to hear from you, and I want you to also understand the importance of what I'm saying, because I'm not saying go out and be responsible and create all of this debt. And I'm not saying that whatsoever. What I'm saying is live beyond what you're currently living right now from a financial perspective. You know, and focus on assets and not liabilities, because people get in trouble because they make a lot of money, but they spend most of it on liabilities and not assets. And the other thing that I want to ask you to do is share this video with somebody else who you think can benefit from it and who really can appreciate a different perspective other than what everybody else is saying in terms of living below your means. And when you share with others, understand that that's an act that's not going to cost you anything. And so I just want to encourage you to share, and also let us know below what is a takeaway for you and maybe a different perspective. But I look forward to seeing you in the next video, and thank you for watching to the end.